welcome to Info Simcoe. My name is Madison Fitzpatrick, and joining us in studio today is Natalie Harris from the Green Haven Shelter. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So for those people that don't know, tell us a little bit about what the Green Haven Shelter is and what you do there.
Sure. So I'm the Community Development Manager, and Green Haven is a shelter for women and children that are fleeing violence. It's an emergency shelter, so we have crisis calls upwards to into the thousands every year for women that are looking to find shelter, and we provide a lot of other resources for them, but that's the basics. And I'm basically out in the community and trying to educate what Green Haven does, bring us out of the shadows a little bit, and really share how community can even participate with us and collaborate, because that's what I'm all about.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the different programs that you guys have and how the shelter works.
So the shelter is, we have 14 beds and 12 of them are funded, and we operate a lot of the time through grants and donations, either financially and in kind, and all of those go towards helping us with programming such as making sure that the women have connections and support if they're going to court. We have outreach workers that provide something called psychodramatic body work, and it's a very science-based way of dealing with trauma that obviously these women and children experience after leaving violence. And so these outreach workers provide this care for women that are staying in the shelter. They also provide it for women in the community that want to come in and use that as well. And we have staff that work one-on-one with the women to help them find housing and to connect them with resources all throughout the community. That's a very tricky thing to find right now, is housing. So we're just constantly trying to make connections with new community members and learn what other resources are out there for us to be able to use to help those women.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. What about finding jobs and things like that?
So a lot of these women for sure are, wanting to eventually find jobs, and some of them do. It depends on really the background. We have women from all socioeconomic backgrounds and all ages that actually come to use the shelter. Yes, a lot of times they are younger women, sometimes single mothers, and so they are in a different situation in their life early on, and it might not even be the time where they can get a job. So first we try to make sure they're safe, and we give them a crisis plan and make sure they might stay with us sometimes for weeks and weeks. It depends, because we're having such a hard time finding housing. So yes, finding employment is of course something that we would help them working on their resume, etc., learning how to get out there in the workforce. But I think it's important for people watching to understand at the time that these women are at the shelter, it is literally day by day trying to make sure that they're safe and making sure we find the resources that they need, and employment comes sometimes later on. But we do have women that have been married for years and are executives in businesses and are unfortunately abused either financially, and they've been in an abusive relationship for quite some time and aren't even aware of how to get out of that. So like I said, our crisis workers and our outreach workers will even help those women. They'll come in and speak with our team. They might not have to stay at the shelter, but there's a lot of levels of abuse that can happen with these women. So employment is a dream goal for sure, and we do make connections with, we even had a job fair. We participated in a job fair a couple days ago at Georgian College. But it's a very dynamic role that Green Haven plays with these women, for sure. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what the future looks like for your shelter.
So that's a great question. So Green Haven's been around for over 30 years, and a woman named Barb Green started this, like I said, over 30 years ago with $75 from City of Aurelia was given to her, and she had a home. It was originally just a home that was renovated or used as a shelter, an emergency shelter, and now we have a beautiful new building. It was opened in 2020, and very safe, state-of-the-art security, etc. But with that discussion about security and safety, we want to make sure that people know where is Green Haven. So we're at 570 Sundial Road in Orillia, and we don't want to be in the shadows anymore. So there's a bit of a myth around, you know, having to hide where women's shelters are because maybe the abuser will come.
Yeah.
That actually doesn't happen very often. They are quite safe and protected there. And what we're really seeing now is we want to empower women and give them an opportunity to find the help that they need and feel like they don't have to hide. Yes, that's a journey through a lot of trauma in order to be able to feel like you don't have to hide. But I think that as Green Haven grows and we kind of change the language around who we are, we can really stand behind the women, and more so even stand beside the women and make sure they feel seen and validated, and they don't need to hide in the shadows.
Right.
Yeah, that's the future. So
yeah, so you're talking about, you know, standing with women. How can people support Green Haven Shelter and get involved?
That's a great question. So we do have one fundraiser coming up, which is going to be very exciting. It's for Mother's Day, and we are making Mother's Day breakfast in bed boxes. The goal is to make 200 of them, and we're reaching out to community. Anybody that's small business or large business in Simcoe County can reach out to me and provide donations into the box. So we're looking for things that would be fun to open as a, you know, breakfast in bed. But you can reach out to me and I can help you with that. But we're always, of course, looking for any kind of donations, and in-kind donations. You can reach out to me as well, and we can kind of guide you with what we need the most, etc. Honestly, the community is so generous, and it's overwhelming daily how many contacts we have with people that want to help. And it's how we run and how we operate. It's amazing.
Incredible. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for being on the show today. We're so happy that you're able to stop by studio and talk with us.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you. Stay tuned for more Info Simcoe.